Token Payments UK. Reduce debt repayments when you can't afford to pay. Understanding token payments for debt management. The token payment method is divided into 8 easy-to-follow steps. We appreciate that this may be new to you, so make sure you read every step carefully and then reread it. This is going to be your new best friend. Before we jump in, it's important to explain that all of the information provided is based on Section 7.3 of the FCA Handbook. Also, note that the information below applies to unsecured debts regulated by the Consumer Credit Act 1974. If anything changes, we will let you know as soon as possible. If you'd like to be notified directly of any changes when they happen, you can join our mailing list. What are token payments? A token payment is simply the amount you can afford to pay when you can no longer meet the payment terms of your agreement with a creditor. Who can use token payments? The information in this article applies to unsecured debts regulated by the Consumer Credit Act 1974. So if your debt falls under this category, you can use token payments. 8 steps to reduce debt repayments with token payments. Step 1. Separate your bank account. Before informing your creditors about your financial difficulty, transfer your income to a bank account not associated with your debts. What do we mean by this? It's not as complicated as it sounds. In fact, it's a straightforward process. All you need to do is set up a bank account with a bank with which you have no unsecured debts. No loans, credit cards, store cards, overdrafts, nothing. This bank account should be brand spanking new. You mustn't set up or request credit facilities with this new bank. This new bank account is your fresh start. Tip: if you have no debts with your current bank account, you can jump straight to step 3 without setting up a new bank account. Step 2. Transfer income and payments. Once your new bank account is up and running, there's a little bit of work to be done, such as transferring all activity to your new account. First, ensure all your income is paid into your new bank account. No more income should be paid into the bank account where you have debts. Next, manually transfer any direct debits, standing orders, or regular payments, such as your mobile phone contract payment, to your new bank account. It will take some time, but do not use the switch bank service. Use this as an opportunity to make yourself aware of what payments you have going in and coming out. By taking these steps, you're not just transferring your financial activities, but also taking control of your financial life. We want you to feel empowered and in control every step of the way. Step 3. Contact your creditors in writing. When contacting your creditors about your financial difficulties, always keep all correspondence in writing. Do not use phone calls to communicate with the creditors. If you can find an email address, great. If not, get your pen out or jump onto your computer and write. You should be able to find the postal addresses of most, if not all, creditors on any letters or statements they have sent you. If not, you will need to search for them on their website. You may receive letters asking you to call the creditor or system-generated letters. If this happens, look for the sender's address on the letter you receive and resend your original letter to this address. Repeat this process whenever you receive correspondence that doesn't answer your letter. Don't panic if you haven't received a response to your letter. It can take time for your email or letter to reach the correct department. In step 5, we'll explain what to do if and when you receive a response. Step 4. Calculate your token payment. This is the most crucial part of the token payment method. If you have reached a point financially where you can no longer meet the payment terms of your agreement with a creditor, you should still try to pay something. A token payment is simply the amount you can afford to pay. Example: Claire has a personal loan which costs her £155 per month. She was able to make the full payment in March, but she just lost her job and can't afford even the minimum payment in April and onwards. Due to this fact, it's vital she first makes a token payment based on what she can afford. Second, informs the creditor of her situation in writing. It doesn't matter whether the creditor has contacted her or not, or whether they failed to respond to her emails or letters. As long as it's possible, she should pay something. Here's why this is so important. Section 7.3.5(3) of the Financial Conduct Authority, FCA Handbook, states the following as an example of treating a customer with forbearance. Section 7.3.5(3). Accepting token payments for a reasonable period of time in order to allow a customer to recover from an unexpected income shock. From a customer who demonstrates that meeting the customer existing debts would mean not being able to meet the customer priority debts or other essential living expenses, such as in relation to a mortgage, rent, council tax, food bills, and utility bills. Creditors are expected to follow this guidance when a person makes them aware that they are experiencing financial difficulty and are making efforts to put a plan in place to address the situation with the creditor. Making token payments means the creditor should refrain from pursuing other legal routes, such as court, which could lead to a county court judgment, CCJ. This is why the token payments are so important. Step 5. Respond to creditor correspondence. When you eventually receive a response to your letter, the creditors might ask you to call to discuss your situation. Do not call. Write in your letters that you wish to keep all communication in writing. Doing this will give you a clear record of all discussions and agreements. At some point, you may receive a letter that includes an income and expenditure form. It is entirely up to you whether you would like to complete this form. However, we suggest you do so. Your creditor can consider freezing the interest and other charges. Nothing in Section 7.3 of the FCA Handbook states it is mandatory. The form is simply the creditor's way of determining how much you can afford to pay them, so be mindful of this. If you decide to complete the income and expenditure form, you can use our budget planner instead of the one provided by the creditor or debt collector. Please listen to the following section carefully. Step 6. Completing an income and expenditure form. As mentioned earlier, the income and expenditure form is a crucial tool for the creditor to understand your financial situation and determine a feasible repayment plan. If you choose to complete the income and expenditure form, here are some essential pointers to be aware of. Only complete the parts you are comfortable with. If you're unsure about any of the requested information, do not feel pressured to complete that part of the form. The creditor is looking for the figure remaining after subtracting your expenditure from your income. This is the figure they will expect you to pay. Creditors cannot suggest amounts for you to make as token payments. Your income and expenditure form shows the creditor how much you can afford to pay each month. Remember, you are not required to disclose sensitive information such as wage slips, bank statements, or medical records. Your privacy is important and should be respected. Be aware that luxury expenditures, such as expensive gym memberships, alcohol, cigarettes, etc., may be questioned. Once you have completed the income and expenditure, retain a copy and post the original to the creditor. Step 7. Confirming your token payment plan. You should eventually receive a letter or email from the creditor confirming that your offer has been accepted for an agreed upon period. After that, you will be contacted again for a review. Step 8. Reviewing your token payment plan. The creditor will get in touch to review your plan at least once within 12 months. However, this will vary. Some may review your plan after a month, some after 3 months, and some after 6 months. When you receive a letter asking for a review, don't feel pressured to increase your payment if you can't. If your circumstances haven't improved, you only need to write back to the creditor telling them this. If you can afford to and want to increase your payments, you can do so anytime. Only pay what you can afford. Never sacrifice your mental well-being to increase your debt payments. Key questions about token payments. Although the token payment method has just 8 steps, it contains a lot of information with do's and don'ts at every turn. We don't want the token payment method to be daunting. We want you to feel calm and in control, ready to handle your unsecured debt at a pace you can manage. You're bound to have questions. We've highlighted some key questions you might have. How long can I make token payments? To keep it short and sweet, there is no time limit. If you think that can't be right, let's go back to what the token payments are all about by visiting the FCA Handbook. Here's an extract from the FCA Handbook. Section 7.3.5. 3. Accepting token payments for a reasonable period of time in order to allow a customer to recover from an unexpected income shock from a customer who demonstrates that meeting the customer existing debts would mean not being able to meet the customer priority debts or other essential living expenses, such as in relation to a mortgage, rent, council tax, food bills, and utility bills. Token payments are based on what you can afford. It's as simple as that. If you are still experiencing financial difficulty and you're paying what you can afford, continue to pay the token payments. There is no time limit on how long a person can experience financial difficulty. However, as a reminder, Creditors and debt collectors will likely contact you about your payment plan at least once every 12 months to see if it is still affordable. You may also find they send you another income and expenditure to complete. If your circumstances haven't improved, you only need to let the creditor or debt collector know and state that you want to stay in the current plan. It's essential to know that your debt can still be sold anytime, even while making token payments. If your debt is sold, please read our 8 steps to handle debt with a debt collector using the token payment method guide, and consider that you may need to restart this process with them. Will token payments affect my assets? This is one of the most significant benefits of the token payment method. Your assets will not be affected if you follow the token payment method precisely. Creditors and debt collectors must treat a customer, the debtor, with forbearance if a customer provides evidence of financial difficulty, openly communicates and makes token payments. We believe your unsecured debt should never come to voluntary bankruptcy or enter into agreements that put your assets at severe risk when you are actively making payments as agreed by the creditor in line with the steps we have outlined. What happens to my credit rating? Ultimately, your credit rating will be affected and the marks will remain on your credit file for 6 years. However, the impact is much less than that of a debt relief order, individual voluntary arrangement, or bankruptcy. If you use the token payment method, you won't be making the minimum monthly payments, therefore breaching the terms of your agreement. So what are the repercussions? The creditor will try to get you to rectify the breach by finding a solution so you can get back on track. They'll do this by encouraging you to clear any arrears or changing the agreement terms so that you are no longer in breach. If they have no luck, after a while they will announce that the agreement has been broken. This is called a default. This means you will be defaulted even if a token payment agreement is in place. It's important to note that once the token payment agreement is in place, you can expect nothing worse than a default. Why? The FCA handbook states that the creditor or debt collector needs to use forbearance, i.e. in this case, not pursue any legal routes they may usually be available to recover the debt. This provides a level of security and limits their actions. The Real Debt Guy's final thoughts. We don't want you to lose sleep stressing about debt. It doesn't have to be this way. Hopefully you'll see how straightforward the token payment method is and how it will help you take control of your debt yourself. Take the time to understand each step, read through it over and over if you need to. If you can only remember one thing, remember to always make token payments every month. It's crucial. If you're ready to regain control of your financial situation, head over to our budget planner. Make sure you stop by regularly to review your situation and stay on top of it. You might also find it helpful to see how others handle their situations and feel supported. If so, you can do that by joining our community.